Right, we're back. This week we're at Head in the Clouds, and George is graciously allowed us to film, and Sophie as well. And finally, I've tracked down a place that actually has a batch booth. It's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah.
It's almost as long as the last Bitcoin all-time high. Fantastic place in South Yarra, Wilson Street, I think.
Wilson Street.
So just down the side street, come check it out. And let me taste the.
My
Let
coffee
me get
is
down to business.
my coffee is amazingly tasty.
Oh, that's a good batch. All right, let's start with, dude, what the hell happened?
I think
Since last time we spoke, we were 118, and now we've walked off a cliff.
well, it's 2% drop, so it's not walking off the cliff anyway. But yeah, that's a big. The sentiment is quickly flipped back to the bearish side.
Yep.
And that's where I think the market is now aiming for, like Bitcoin is aiming for 111K range to be tested.
Oh man, 110. If we get down to 110,
Well, that's the last resort I think for the bulls.
yeah, I'm,
to keep
I'm
up the
really,
price.
really worried. I thought we would
Yeah.
securely hold 114, and we sort of went back up to almost 115 yesterday.
Yep.
And more impressively, we saw Ethereum went higher, and I was like,
Yeah.
fantastic! This means people are getting out of Bitcoin, getting into Ethereum.
Rotating into Bitcoin.
Alt season is here.
It is, and it's
And
been
then-
on a
wow.
pause. It's been on a pause for a week, I think, because the uncertainty
Well,
in the
spoiler
market.
alert, alt season is
Yeah.
not quite here. I thought it was.
I think it's quite here because it's the correction in the Bitcoin. So Bitcoin dominance fell like a cliff, right? If you see the charts, the dominance went from 65 to 60%.
So it's FOMO though.
It was FOMO, and now it's a bit of and it's just now the rebound which has taken the dominance to 61%.
Yeah.
And it's not a massive upside on the dominance anyway, but the uncertainty in the market, everyone just wants to get into BTC, right? Because of the liquidity, the massive amount of liquidity Bitcoin has. That's where everyone just sell their alts in times of uncertainty and just rotate it back to Bitcoin. That's what this week we have
Yeah,
seen.
but I think the concerning thing is we're not seeing alts running. We're seeing a lot of like Dino coins. I saw Litecoin had a surge, which is like
10%,
didn't even know Litecoin was still a thing. So Litecoin's moving. So it seems that the people that are cycling out of Bitcoin are probably older holders still.
Yep.
That are going into things that they're familiar with. Cardano
As a surge.
Cardano had a massive surge as well. So it seems to be Dino coins. I'm not seeing that movement that I had hoped to be seeing yet on the newer projects.
Yeah, so
That's the concern. I'm not saying that it won't happen, but at the moment, it's not where I want to be.
Well, I think it might not happen in the way that we have seen previously because there are too many altcoins, like we have mentioned, right? And
There's a million a day.
million a day, right? And not that much of money is just flowing into those random shitcoins any way now. The earlier previous bull markets were very different in terms of the altcoin, the number of altcoins and the market caps these altcoins used to have. So that's where I think we might not even witness that sort of intensity of the alt season. It might be selective. So as the industry matures, people or the investor gets smart enough to like capitalize on the assets that are driving the utility or either the memes. And not every asset or every altcoin is doing anything, right? These are forks of something.
Which I think we've touched on as when you're looking at different, picking the categories and then looking at the top tokens in those categories and betting on them.
Yep.
And I think even we see institutions doing that because now there's inflows into AI tokens and things like that. So I still think that's probably the smarter play. Look, I started very bitter coming in, but I still do think we're having a quite bullish altcoin season is coming.
Yep.
I think it might have been a little bit delayed. I actually saw, I forgot the name of the channel, but a KOL recently saying that, and having good backing as to why of that it'll be pushed towards February
Next year?
for an altcoin season. Yeah.
I don't like. I'm
Just prove it. I'll link him in. We can have a comment.
No, I think the alt season is already happening, and it's just a bit of uncertainty that has led the money flown back to Bitcoin, like especially the altcoin rotation that we've seen, and we've seen major outflows out of Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah.
Like this last week on Friday because of the non-farm payrolls. So there was a big, massive spike in the selling on Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah.
And then on Monday as well, like the markets followed the same trajectory of downside because of institutional selling. And a lot of movement happened over the weekend wherein Ethereum tapped onto 3,300 ranges. So we were betting on like 3,500 to be as a support. But then over the weekend, like Mike was like, "What the hell has happened, man? Like, what's happening over the weekend?"
Well, I jinxed Ethereum. I also jinxed China. I said China's gonna start their ETFs and massively
On
adopting
stable
stable
coins,
coins. And then like the next day there was a news announcement that China is banned.
Yet to be
crypto.
verified. Yet to be verified then,
Look,
but
I am, if I'm wrong on that one, I am willing to admit that I'm wrong. I'm not like one of these other crypto KOLs that deletes their videos as soon as the prediction is wrong. I think China will eventually. I think it's a little bit of political back and forth now to say that they're banning crypto, and it's also like a massive.
well, they've banned it like 1,000 times, and Bitcoin has made an all-time high after the news. So I think it doesn't impact, right? China is printing massive amounts of money. That's what we are witnessing. So the global money supply has been expanding, and I think the uncertainty is what led to the sell-off in the broader categories, especially SPX as well had a very big sell-off. So
Well, there
from
was
6,400.
some drama with SPX of someone tweeted that that it was being rugged by the founders, and that seemed to
The
be.
SPX token.
Yeah, there was another token or something that was launched, and there was just a little bit of BS, I think.
Yeah.
But there was a tweet that went viral, and of course, like there's that concern.
Yeah.
But I think it was unfounded.
Yeah.
I mean, it can't be rugged. The founders aren't holding anything, right? They sort of like rugged it when they launched it. So it's just the power of X, especially in this community-driven projects, can be fantastic for pumping the price, but can then also have people panic, especially when they look at the markets and the markets on the red as well. They're losing money elsewhere.
Yep.
SPX was their last saving grace. I'm going to be rich off of this, and then they get some bad news. They're like, oh crap, maybe we should sell.
I think that's where a lot of whales just try to shake the new people. That's what is happening. So we've seen like over the weekend like 700 million worth getting long liquidated. So the longs got absolutely hammered over the weekend, and that's what has been like. It's more of an uncertainty, especially after the news came in from US.
Let's go back to the news. So we filmed last episode on Tuesday, and so a couple of days before the tariffs came in. How have we seen the tariffs impact the markets?
The collection on the tariffs come from 7th of August, so we are yet to witness how much money the US makes. Hello.
Okay, hello. Do you have any Bitcoin?
No, but his dad does, and his dad loves to talk about Bitcoin. Well,
Okay.
I don't know if he actually has a crypto.
That's good to know.
They're talking about something called Bitcoin, which is like
Magic internet money,
Magic internet money.
future of finance. Yeah, so I think that's where a lot of news came in, and so what happened, what led to this massive sell-off is like US non-farm payrolls came in, and it was supposedly to come around 114K jobs, but that came around 70K.
yeah.
Hello.
Reminds me of home. I got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Do you? That's strange.
5 and 2.
Ah.
Hello.
No, well, if you guys want to, we're happy to pause and start again. We don't want to.
No, it's everything. Well, we can sit here or outside.
There's a bit changing inside of them.
Yeah, we'll sit outside, guys. Won't we? Let's sit outside. Yeah, it's nice and sunny.
Just prove that this is all unscripted in life.
This is not AI. We are real people doing real podcasts.
Cannot recommend this cafe enough, and the coffee is amazing.
Yeah, it
So
is.
not plugging, just that they're very nice compared to some place. Should I mention last week? I mentioned last week the Olsen, who just didn't want to have us there at all. These guys have literally shut the cafe for us.
Yeah. Amazing hospitality as well.
To have it, and really good coffee. Not joking.
Really good coffee.
Okay, so tariffs.
Yeah, so tariffs, I think the real pain or like the real numbers will come around after 7th of August once they start collecting the tariffs. But Trump has been advocating a lot on like how bullish the tariffs has been for the US economy in general. And that's where I think I tend to agree on that part as well. But I think that's where the Federal Reserve is a bit late
Yeah.
onto cutting the rates. I think I was hoping for a rate cut this month. That's what I predicted.
You did predict it.
Yeah, 25 bips rate cut, but Powell didn't
Do you
go
think
with the rate
it's
cut.
delayed, or do you think it'd be a bigger rate cut later on, or just sort of kicked the can kicked down the street a little bit on the 25?
I think now there's a more certainty of getting a 50 bips rate cut
Yeah.
straight away rather than having 25 in like 25. But now it's like 92%. So the probability after these non-farm payrolls were revised. So what happened? I'll give you a brief. So non-farm payrolls came in 73,000. The expectation was 110,000. So that's way below, right? And then the news came in wherein they have revised the non-farm payrolls data for the month of May and June as well. So the month of May and June combined, it was 258K. That got revised to 14K only. So that means the employment numbers around US are like cooling way more than anticipated. And that's where I think the data or the Fed has just gone wrong with the rate cuts. So that's where now the general consensus has shifted to having a rate cut of 25 bips or 50 bips in September. And that's more of a certain rate cut that's going to happen rather than just hitting on the probability. So the probability has shifted to 40% instead of 40% to 95%.
I see George is checking his Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I'm
thinking of my right, I'm asking ChatGPT if I invested £1,000 in Bitcoin in 20, September 2020, what would it do now? I want to make myself feel bad.
Yeah.
Probably 5x if you invested in.
There's a way that you can beat yourself up.
Yeah.
Nah. Should have done it 5 years ago.
Shouldn't, but it's never too late.
It's never
not
too late
to
to
get it.
get Bitcoin. Yeah.
Bitcoin will keep going up at the same rate. It'll
I did now and leave it for 5 years.
yeah. Sign up to day1x.io. I will look after you.
Coming back to our discussion, I think that's where a lot of uncertainty happened, and then came the news that Trump has fired the commissioner of Bureau of Labor Statistics because
it was so like petty and awesome, but also
he was like,
awesome.
okay, yeah, it's a Biden's appointee, and they have been faking the data. So that has led the markets to be more volatile, more choppy, and more uncertain. And whenever that happens, I think the general trend we see is like the altcoins shit the bed. That's what has happened. Bitcoin moved 2% down, but the altcoins moved like 20%, 30% down. That's what
It's always just a leverage trade.
exactly. It's a beta
Which
player.
we've talked about. It's good when the market's going
Upside
up. You're
as
going to
well.
get more
Upside.
more upside, but you're also going to get massively more downside. So I think that's when everybody panicked. But we had that massive dip, and then going back to an earlier point, we saw Ethereum really almost back up to, I think it's 37.
3,700.
Bitcoin,
Yeah.
Ethereum grew, sort of recovered a lot better
Yep.
than Bitcoin. I was like, great, this is the sign. We're finally going to see a massive influx into Ethereum, and then it didn't happen.
Yeah, it didn't. So I think that was a short-term corrective bounce. I think the market has lost some of its momentum because of the macroeconomic politics and the factors that we've been associated with. So I think this week and the next week, because August is a very crucial period for a lot of reports to come, and this week also we'll see a lot of reports. The next week comes in the US CPI data that will trigger like the Fed to take a point if they want a rate cut and how much they want to do it. So I think August is a very critical time to place your bets. I think the trend is bullish.
Yeah.
It's just like a short-term choppiness.
Yeah.
And I think it's an excellent buy
I
the
think
dip
everything that we've
opportunity.
been saying over the past couple of weeks is
Good to DCA.
It's still active,
Yep.
and it's still correct. I think we've just pushed the date back a little bit.
Yep.
I think it's an amazing time to get into some projects now. Even I tweeted yesterday, even some more safer plays like Link is $16 for it was $16 yesterday,
Yep.
probably 14, 15 today,
Yep.
which is an amazingly undervalued asset. I think
Yep.
Link is 4 or 5xing in a bull run. So
Yep.
we're at that point in the market now where you don't need to look too far down the list to get some of these like degen altcoins.
Yep.
You can if you want the 10 and 20x's,
Yep.
but having those mid-cap coins, even some of the Dino coins, as we've seen with Litecoin moving, as we've seen with ADA moving,
Yep.
you can get some pretty good upside with those. So I think I've been a massive fan of Link. I think Link is a really
I agree.
safe, not financial advice, but as safe of investment as you can, because it underpins so much of Web3 and the ecosystem that when everything else moves, that is one of those assets that's pulled up with it.
Yeah, and I think Chainlink has
And they know what they're doing,
partnered-
unlike Solana.
Exactly. So they have partnered with a lot of real protocols that are delivering value. So
Yeah.
Chainlink is the main source of information and the Oracle information play,
Yeah.
wherein everything in Web3 now is on the EVM chain, as well as the other chains are now sort of connected to Chainlink.
Yeah.
And that is like sort of powered by Chainlink in a way. And that's where I think Chainlink has its own value. And I think in couple of years' time is when we'll realize, okay, we
think
used to
it's
talk a lot
it's a
about Chainlink and
sleeper.
$15 and
Well, I think Chainlink does a lot of like it's a different demographic or different sort of category and niche. But to me, the story is very XRP-ish, where it's like it's meant to have real utility. It's meant to change the way traditional finance is done through the blockchain. It's also a US-based token.
replace Swift.
Well, exactly, and I think the only reason it hasn't blown up is retail comes in and goes, oh, XRP is only $2, Chainlink's 14. I'm
14,
going to buy
yeah.
XRP, but they're not quite educated on how to look at the market cap. But I think Link has amazing potential to, I think, in a bull market, 5x, because there's nothing else that really does what it does,
Yep.
and certainly not in the US. And I think we still have that massive US season.
Yeah.
Solana, okay.
Solana is making...
The phone.
Yeah.
The phone, Seeker, I think. The phone's out. So Solana have done a phone, which to me is just like, it's so Solana, but also like so missing the point. Like, why would we take a phone to access Web3 infrastructure if we're meant to be decentralized? There's nothing more centralized than a single device.
Yeah, that's true.
And like, what is this? It's just such a weird. I always thought it was so weird. I never thought it would come to fruition, but it's actually shipped. $1,000 phone, Android device that essentially just comes preloaded with dApps.
Did
But
they
it's
ship
just-
it back again? Like there was a Solana phone a year and a half ago as well. So is it a new version that they've
I think it's a new version. I think now it's like it is that device, but that was just shipped to KOLs and announced. Whereas now you can actually go out and buy one.
Okay. Yeah, it used to be a long wait list, and
it's-
that was like
It's
in the
like,
bull market.
It's like, why? Like this is one of those things where I think shows how far behind the eight ball Solana really is, and only has had the success that it's had because it was cheap.
That's true.
And some interesting branding around it. But now I think
the hype
Solana
is gone.
is-
Like it has been fading. I think Solana is like now what's happening. A lot more shitcoins are being created on
And
base.
Ethereum's
On
cheap
base.
now.
Ethereum's cheap as well.
Ethereum is so cheap now.
And then comes base, right?
I was trying to
Layer two.
withdraw and having a look at Tron and Ethereum, and back in the day, Tron used to be so much cheaper to execute on, and now it's getting withdrawal $9 on a $10 withdrawal to test something, and Ethereum was next to nothing.
Exactly. So I think that's where a lot of dynamics have shifted in this space, especially L1 space, wherein SUI has come in, then Ethereum's gas fee has lowered down a lot. And then comes L2s on Ethereum that are way more cheaper, like 10x, 100x cheaper than Ethereum main chain, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I think Base has taken over the Solana play. So Solana came as a layer wherein you can launch your own shitcoins, right? Mm-hmm. And that's where Base has overtaken it. So I'm not too sure now why should Solana see a massive price upside, because the thesis before was like any retail can come in, launch their own token,
the only
and
way-
the speed and the finality.
It's because of things like Pump Fund and
Bonk.
Bonk and Pump.Fund had
Massive.
recovered a lot from. So if you missed it, launched the token, dumped, and now it's recovered really, really well.
They're doing the buyback, so they are trying to establish or like control sort of the price.
It's been one of in the past week. It's been one of the best ones. Like if you held or you got in at that dip, it's been one of the only like good stories.
10 to 15%. That's it. Yeah, exactly. And then
So I think that's what controls Solana, right? And there's still this narrative that if we get another NFT season as well, Solana's they're gonna be minted on Sol, and who knows?
probably I think Solana used to be the number one choice. Now a lot of people are shifting to L2s, especially Base. That's what I'm trying to cover.
Yeah.
And there was yesterday I think Base took over.
I think Base to me, just because of who owns it, is like it's a
Coinbase.
B&B.
Yeah,
To me, it's more like B&B.
it is. It is.
And B&B was sort of Solana before Solana is where you launch cheaply and things like that.
Have their own ecosystem around. Yeah. So
I think Sui. I see more Sui sort of replacing Solana.
Yeah, Sui was entered like in like a Nasdaq company is trying to get Sui as a treasury asset on their balance sheet as well. So a lot of companies are now jumping on to get these assets on their balance sheets. I'm not particularly sure like if it's a good move. Rather than implementing BTC or Ethereum, they are trying to get the other assets on their treasury assets. So
It's also like a point
very
of
bold,
differentiation.
very bold move, I would
Very
say.
bold, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
SEC liquid staking. Some good news.
Yeah, some good news. So
Liquid staking is not a financial
security,
service, or not,
yeah,
not a
not security. So yeah, so I think that's where I was telling you, right? It's gonna create a massive amount of leverage in the system, because if you are liquid staking, then that essentially means you can have your staked asset, utilize it over somewhere else, right? That's where the on-chain play comes in. Where
Print magic internet money.
exactly. So you are having your Solana liquid staked somewhere else. You take a piece of it, borrow against it, create another wave of liquidity around it, and then when the massive
And then margin.
margin exactly.
Margins on margins.
Yeah, so you're essentially looping the amount of money that you have. For example, you've got $1,000 of Solana. You are looping it at you liquid stake it at 2%. Use that liquid stake somewhere else, cross collateralize somewhere else, make 4% out of it in a best possible way.
Do you think this creates a massive bubble that can potentially burst?
Yeah, that's where the leverage, like it's gonna be a massive leverage bubble, and once these assets starts to tank, for example, Solana right now is $200. For example, if it goes to $100, then you are a very big risk of liquidation. Your liquid staked Solana gets liquidated, so it's gonna create a massive leverage bubble, and that's what we are witnessing anyway. So the
You
more
see that
the
bubble burst this run, or is it something
this run,
that this run you think
this
it
run
bursts?
for
When
a lot
everything-
of tokens.
So the crash, we were sort of talking about the crash. When the crash comes, it's going to be massive.
Yeah, because it's going to be triggered by the amount of liquidations or the leverage that people are trying to utilize. Exactly.
It's going to be quick, which
It's
means you
gonna
have
be
to
quick.
dollar cost average out your
Very quickly.
your profits. Take your profits, because with this, I think we're gonna see a massive bull run. I think the bull run's going to be really, really quick as well.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be shorter than we've seen before,
Yep.
and I think it's going to literally be an overnight collapse.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what
So take along the way, because timing that peak is going to be really
really hard. Yeah, and it's getting harder day by day, especially in crypto. The amount of volatility and the uncertainty that comes from any statement from a global leader, especially on crypto, because it's a small industry, right? It's hardly hit 4 trillion this month, right?
Yeah.
And it's back to 3.7 trillion. So it's a very tiny industry that can be impacted by a lot of news. So you need to be very smart enough to DCA out. And I think these levels are the best levels to get in, like DCA in, if you've missed some boat.
Well, I mean, the best we were talking to George. The best was last year or 5 years ago, but it's never
Good time
the
to get
second
into
best time is
Bitcoin.
today.
Yeah, especially not into. Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I think you should be getting into the smarter place, which is Bitcoin and Ethereum for the time being. And once you get comfortable around these, then you start to exercise your leverage, or like you get more riskier based on the trend.
Can I ask a question on your podcast?
sure. What's the question?
If the maximum supply is 21 million and they're at 19.9, and they're not just going to reach the maximum supply and then what happens?
So the question is, if the maximum supply, the maximum potential of Bitcoin is 21,
Million.
But they're at 19.9.
and we're at 19.9, what happens?
So so how Bitcoin works is like it's mined. So essentially there are big miners that are mining the Bitcoin.
Isn't it based on prime numbers?
Not prime number. So it's more towards the Tesla's theory of numerology. So that's where Satoshi Nakamoto came in as like 21 million, and
Once it hits 21,
21 million.
is it
More scarcity.
Yeah, more scarcity.
There's new. So imagine mining all the gold in the world. And it's quite literally mining, right? So if we mine all the gold in the world and there's none left that somebody could stumble across, or miners could unlock, miners could find, then the existing supply goes up.
Boom after it hits 21 mil.
That we believe is what we believe that's what's going to happen, and we believe that's what the institutions like Michael Sayer that are buying up billions and billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin are betting on. What happens after that is anyone's sort of guess.
Yeah, but it happens in 2140, so it's still like 100 years
Yeah.
far. Yeah, so that 2 million bitcoins that we
Yeah,
need
that's an interesting point. Everyone's like, what happens when it's all gone? That will be in 2140. It's not
2140.
That's not an us problem at that point. There'll be something else that will have cycled out into. So.
AI problem to take care of.
Yeah. If you're still here, if you're watching this and you're still stressing about it in 2140, then you have nothing to stress about. You've done well.
You've done well.
Getting alive somehow.
Yeah.
Like,
All right, what's the outlook for the next week? You still think choppy?
Yeah, I still think so.
Yeah.
Unless Bitcoin takes over 115k resistance.
Oh, okay. So that I think that we sort of have. Okay, we have two.
So it's a tiny range
outlooks.
right now. Yeah. Either 110.
It's either choppy.
so funny.
If it goes to 110, we're all.
It's a retest of 110. That's what I'm seeing right now
If we
because
dip
it's
below
been
110,
And then like,
I'm out of the market for the time being.
you're gonna sell.
but like it's
You're
so
selling a
funny,
weapon.
like,
You're gonna stop losses
Yeah.
at 110
Yeah.
of everything.
Yeah. If yes.
Even pudgy penguins.
I think Pudgy Penguin is just another beta play, right? It's all about the sentiment and the structure that Bitcoin needs to hold. I don't think Bitcoin falls off and the other tokens are just pumping out of randomly. It's gonna create more exit liquidity for a short term. Like we can see spike in like illiquid tokens just to get them out. Like we have seen like every day there's a new token that's pumped 200% and the other day it's just crashing out, right? That's what the general trend is like. So in order to have a good, healthy, bullish uptrend in a lot of altcoins, what personally I feel Bitcoin needs to maintain 110, go above 115 for the surety that the bull run is here and there's gonna be a definite alt season where an Ethereum is leading and like taking over. But if Bitcoin falls below 110, it risks the whole situation of the crypto market for the timing. So if Bitcoin closes below 110 level is when I'm gonna be just out and just monitor. I'm gonna be DCA out or like I'm gonna be selling on the market. Who knows? Depends on the situation of the market. But yeah, that's the most critical.
Next week.
Yeah, that's the most critical point.
I don't think it dips below 110. I think
it shouldn't.
I
but we
think
never
we're
know.
Okay, but having said that, yeah, I didn't think we would dip below 114.
Exactly.
I really didn't. On the weekend when we had
And that too happened over the weekend, like wherein a lot of people were not even aware of the movement, right?
yeah, it's one more bad news tweet
Yeah,
away. Like 110 is always one Donald Trumpism away.
exactly. So
That's what worries
And
me.
then Eric Trump came in with buy the dip on Ethereum. So he has been.
He's trying to get those exit. He's trying to
Exactly.
get that exit liquidity.
So he's been a moon boy on X now, wherein the last time he tweeted to buy the dip on Ethereum, Ethereum dipped 30% down after that. And when it broke even, he was like retweeting his tweet.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, interesting times. I think, the next week is absolutely crucial. Hopefully we're sitting here next week and we see Bitcoin's going up over 115. Otherwise, if it's dipped below 110, we'll talk to you about how to react in the market at that point.
Yep.
I think there'll still be some good buys to be had at that
Yep.
point. We'll just have to rethink our strategy.
Yep.
Always, follow the advice of only invest what you can afford to lose. So
Yep.
if 110 really scares you, I'd really think about dollar cost averaging some out now to sort of hedge your bets and make yourself feel more comfortable and be able to sleep at night because anything can happen. So keep an eye on the markets. We'll definitely keep you updated on X. And,
It's only a 2 or 3% move downside on Bitcoin, but it can lead to massive altcoin downside.
Yeah.
That's what I'm a bit worried about because Bitcoin dominance has been going up with the recent sell on the Bitcoin. So
And it's a cost reward. It's a
Exactly.
risk reward, right? So it's a great time to buy, but it's really risky. So
it's a cautious time to be in the markets right now. I think especially these couple of weeks. It's when
always
you
funny
place
because
your bets and just chill. I think spot and chill should be the way for the time being. If you're just getting in like DCing in 25% at certain level, then if it goes below certain, then you're
it's so
25%.
tempting because now is the time you find some like low cap coin that like 1,000x's like
Exactly.
And everyone's like it was so easy like
It's good to
is that-
position. It's good
that
to
time
position.
now like
It
if
is,
you have
it
some
is.
money gamble on chain on some really low cap assets and I'm sure Alex Becker will tweet about it when something that he's in exposed because now is that time, but there's that massive reward is also there, but it is a risky time as well. So just,
Exactly. But realistically, I think we shouldn't be going all in right now. I think market might present more opportunities on the downside. That's what I see. Even if a wick comes in like 110, just quick retest of 110 levels and just go up again. So that's where I'm having some limit bets placed around those levels, just in case to catch a wick. That's it. And if a day or a 3-day candle or a weekly candle closes below those levels, then it's like we'll reevaluate.
It's a different conversation next week. All right, thank you for tuning in. We are at Head in the Clouds. Yeah.
Amazing coffee.
We will turn the camera around and say hello to everyone.
Yep.
And are you going to buy? You're buying or not? What have you decided after listening to us?
Are you gonna buy?
I'm like, what?
Are you going to buy some Bitcoin?
I'm not.
Perfect. All right. Thank you for having us, guys.